This video is going to focus on describing one particular type of note-taking. It's called a double entry journal. This is a particularly powerful means of taking notes, both on something you've read or on lectures you listen to. I particularly like it because it both has you writing down something you've read or heard, but it also has you thinking about it. And that thinking component is what will help new information stick in your head. That's why double entry journals are type of note-taking that I strongly recommend. And I recommend it so much that you will find that you're going to have a number of them due this semester in this class. So, what is a double entry journal? First thing you do is take a piece of binder paper and you draw a line down the middle vertically. And yes, I did say binder paper. This is something that I recommend you do handwritten. As I said, you're going to draw a line down the middle vertically. Then as you read, you're going to take notes from the text, the thing you're reading, on the left-hand side. Ask yourself as you're reading what your teacher wanted you to get out of the assignment. Why did the teacher assign it? Teachers don't assign reading just because they want to torture you. I promise. They assign reading because there's something in there that they think you should know. So what did they want you to get out of it? Find those things, write those things down. You might write a quote of something that you find in the text, something that's phrased particularly well. Most of the time you're going to write summaries, whether you're summarizing a paragraph or you're doing brief bits. Or you might write down unusual vocabulary, words you don't recognize, and the definitions to them. Then you're going to include page numbers from the text, or if you're dealing with something online, so there's no page number, then you're going to write down the paragraph number. Then, for everything that you've written down on the left-hand side, you're going to go back and you're going to think about it. Why did you write that down? Is it something that struck you as important? Is it something you've never thought about before? Or is it something that's similar to what you were taught previously? Or maybe it's completely different from what you were taught previously. Everything that you write down on the right-hand side is going to be from your knowledge, your thoughts, your ideas. So, application is why are we doing this? How does this help? Writing down notes helps you pull out of a text the main points. Writing them down, like I said, gives you some level of physical activity. Thinking about what you've written down helps it stick in your head, particularly when you connect new ideas to old ideas that were already there. So one visual representation of what that looks like. On the left-hand side, you've got stuff from the text. Might be quotes, summaries, paraphrases. You might also, if there are numbers or statistics that you're interested in, write those down. On the right-hand side then, this is all the stuff that comes out of your head. They might be reactions. Wow, this is weird. Reflections. This is interesting. Connections would be, I learned this exact same thing in high school. Explanations. What this author is saying to me is, or you might have theories or discussions of significance. I think this is going to be an important thing to remember because I can use. So I would like to walk through an example. This is actually an article that you're going to be assigned to read later in the semester. It is by an author named Ryan Bloom. It was published in The New Yorker. The title of the article is Inescapably, You're Judged by Your Language. So let's read some of this, and then we can look at the kind of notes that are taken as we go along. So the first paragraph. From the time we step into an English class, we're told that rules matter, that they must be followed, that we must know when it's appropriate to use a comma and what it means to employ the subjunctive mood. But do these things really matter? Outside of the classroom, what difference does it make if we write who instead of whom or good instead of well? What kind of notes show up on a double entry journal? This person has summarized the first paragraph. You can see there's no quotation marks around it. It just says, First paragraph asks why it matters how we say things, and then we have paragraph 1 noted. That's the text. Students thought about it. I've never really been sure about who or whom. So, next paragraph. It does make a difference, at least sometimes. In order to determine when those times are, the question must be asked. For whom are we writing? Are you writing? Take that last sentence, for example. As Joan Acocella wrote recently in The New Yorker, every statement is subjective, partial, full of biases and secret messages. The above sentence is no exception. Its ostentatious structure and secret message says, I am one of you. It also says even sneakier things like, I'm educated, an authority, and you can trust me about that language usage. The average New Yorker reader recognizes the effort the sentence exerts to maintain grammatical correctness, and in recognizing this, the reader bonds with the writer. I becomes we. We share a secret now. We're a team. So what kind of notes on that paragraph did our student take? One of them has written down the name of the person quoted there, Joan Acocella, and they've written down a sentence in quotes. Every statement is partial, full of biases and secret messages. End quote. Paragraph 2. Students thought, is that really true? It makes me think more about everything I say. With a little shocked face, I'm guessing that is. You can feel free, if you like to draw on your double entry journals. Anything that helps it stick in your head, and creating your own illustrations will probably help it stick in your head, so that's good. Looks like the next comment is also about paragraph 2. This one's a summary. Bloom says the use of whom is expected by the average New Yorker reader, paragraph 2. Students comment, I'm not sure exactly who this refers to, what their average reader is like. I think it's supposed to be this, who this refers to, what their average reader is like. So there the student is kind of questioning what the author says, the average New Yorker reader. All right, let's look at next paragraph. But how would things be if I walked into the sports bar down the street on a Sunday afternoon and asked, for whom are we rooting today? The wording would not be likely to win me many pals at the pub. The more likely response from the collective would be banishment to a far corner, a shake of the head, and an astonished, what do you mean, who are we rooting for? So students comment on paragraph 3. Bloom says the use of whom wouldn't work in a sports bar. So that's basically a summary of that paragraph. And it's noted that it's paragraph 3. Students comment, I haven't spent much time in bars, but I can imagine this is true. Okay. Next paragraph. Why did it go so wrong? In short, different audience, different dialect. The key to linguistic acceptance is recognition and adaptation. Know thy audience, know thy friends. It's not a matter of which sentence is correct, for whom are we rooting versus who are we rooting for, so much as which sentence is correct for a given situation. So let's look at the student's last note here, paragraph 4. The key to linguistic acceptance is recognition and adaptation. Know thy audience. So they've written down a quote directly from the article. Students comment, this sounds like good advice. I kind of do it anyway. I mean, I don't talk around my grandma like I talk to my friends, lol. So, again, the comments don't have to be brilliant. It is the fact of thinking about what you've written down that will help information stick in your head. For this class, if you have a double entry journal assigned, to get full points, you need to do 250 words or more. On average, if you have one full binder page of notes in average size handwriting, that's going to be 250 words. If you want to be sure, just go a little bit over. Also, if you want to earn extra credit, if you go beyond the 250 words, if you go beyond the 1 page, you can get extra credit. So, double entry journals help you read, pay attention while you're reading, and remember what you've read. That's why I recommend them. We'll talk to you soon.